Lesson 7.5, Properties of Logarithms. In this final lesson in Chapter 7, we'll take a look at 3 properties that are consistent with exponent rules and apply them with logarithms. When you have a logarithm of base b and the base isn't 1, if you're multiplying, dividing, or you have exponents, you can apply properties to expand and condense logarithmic expressions. We have a product property, a quotient property, and a power property. We had properties like this for exponents, and the similar rules will apply for products. For example, if you have a product of terms and you're taking the logarithm of that product, you can expand using addition. If you have a quotient of logarithms, you can expand using subtraction. If you have an exponent, this is the only one that's kind of unique. If you have an exponent, you can take the value of that exponent and put it out in front as a coefficient. So if you're working from left to right, when you're asked to expand, that means you're going to have more terms in your final answer. So you're working these definitions from left to right. Maybe you'll have 2 logarithm terms, you could have 3 or 4. So from left to right. If you're asked to condense an expression, that means you'll have several logarithms with matching bases, and you'll be able to work the formulas backwards. So you'll go from right to left. So let's take a look first at expanding. To expand means you're going to try to determine whether or not you have a product, quotient, or exponent. In our first term, we have log base 3 of 4x. Taking a look at what we're taking the logarithm of, 4x, that would be considered a product. And what we can do to expand this logarithm is separate the 4 and the x into 2 separate logarithms with addition. This would mean we'd have log base 3 of 4 plus log base 3 of x. And we try to simplify if possible, but log base 3 of 4 isn't something that's power chart friendly. And log base 3 of x we can't simplify because we don't know what x is. This is the expanded form for that logarithmic expression. In example 2, we have log base 7 of 5 times x cubed times y times z cubed. Looking at all of these things multiplied together, that's a really big product, which means we're going to have multiple terms in our final answer. We also have exponents, which means we're going to be applying the power property. So big product, and we'll have some powers. Always start by separating the individual logarithm parts like the 5, the x, the y, and the z. If there are 5 different things in that product, we're going to have, 4, 5, x, y, and z. If there are 4 different terms in that product, that means we're going to have 4 logarithm terms in our expanded answer. All right, so here's what it'll look like. We'll start from left to right. We'll start off as log base 7 of 5 plus log base 7 of x cubed plus again log base 7 of y, I'm starting to rethink this yellow, plus log base 7 of z squared. Stop for a minute, everybody, and look at how you wrote those 4 terms out. Do you see how the LOG term and the 5, the LOG and the x cubed, the LOG, the y, and the LOG and the z squared, they should all be kind of straight across in the same row. The only numbers that will look different are the 7s should be lower as kind of the lower value for that LOG term for the base. And then x cubed and z squared, the 3 and the 2, should be exponents. Try to make sure your parts look as accurate to that as possible. Once you've separated the logarithm terms with addition, now let's take a look at the powers. For those powers, we have x cubed and we have z squared. Now the power property means you put that out in front of that term as a coefficient, but we only put it in front of the term that it's attached to. So the log base 7 of x cubed, the 3 is just going to go in front of that term. And then log base 7 of z squared, the 2 will go right in front of that one. Making our final answer log base 7 of 5 plus, now that 3 is going to go right out in front, 3 times log base 7 of x plus again log base 7y, nothing changes for that one. And our last term, this is crazy, 2 log base 7 of z. That would be the expanded answer. Let's take a look at question 3. Log base 4 of the fraction x over 3y. Right away, since it's a fraction, we know we're going to be dealing with a quotient. And in the denominator of that quotient, we have a product. So there's kind of two parts happening here. And I'm trying to write product twice. It's very exciting. All right. So if we look at the quotient first, we want to separate the x and the 3y. That would give us log base 4 of x minus log base 4 of the product 3y. With that 3y, that's really our product, so we would expand that with addition. Here's where we have to be careful with kind of the addition and subtraction part for this term. Notice we're subtracting all of this. So we need to make sure when we expand that it stays in a bracket or a parenthesis. Here's what I mean. If we start off with log base 4 of x and we subtract, we're going to have two terms with the 3 and the y. And we need to have both of them together. So that would be log base 4 of 3 plus log base 4 of y. Or the alternate way you could write this out is if you distributed the negative in, and you could write it like this. Well, the pink looks way better on the screen. Log base 4 of x minus log base 4 of 3, and then minus again log base 4 of y. This version of the answer and this version of the answer are equivalent. You wouldn't need to state both, but if you have just one subtraction sign, the second two terms would need to stay in parentheses. Our last example has ln. Remember from 7.4, ln just means you're taking the inverse of base e, so it's still a logarithmic term. Same rules apply. So we'll just write same rules for ln. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and slide it down here. I give myself a little bit more room. If we have ln square root x, the square root itself isn't going to be as user-friendly to work with as an exponent would be. So if you recall that the square root of x is the same as x to the 1/2 power, that'd be the m over n, then we can rewrite this term as ln x to the 1/2. Really, all we're applying here is our power property. We've got lots of stars happening in this section. I don't know where that came from. All we're going to do here, since there's just one term we're taking the natural logarithm of, is take that 1/2 and put it out in front. So this one's the quickest one out of all of them. 1/2 times ln of x. And that's how you expand from one compound term to several. The opposite of expanding is condensing an expression. When you condense, it means you're going to start off with maybe multiple terms and end with just one term in your final answer. It says log base 4 of 7 plus log base 4 of 10. To condense means we're going to look at our properties in reverse order. If we have addition, addition of logarithms is the reverse of the product property. To condense it down, you'd want to take what you're taking you'd want to take your logarithmic terms and multiply them together. Multiplying is the opposite of that addition rule. What this would condense down to then is log base 4 of 7 times 10. And what's 7 times 10? It's 70. That would give us log base 4 of 70. Thinking about your power chart, 4 and 70, there's really no connection with them without a decimal kind of answer. Therefore, this is the exact condensed form. All right, let's try example 6. 5 times log x minus 4 times log y. Notice the base is missing, and that just means it defaults to base 10. So we have a couple of things happening here. We have numbers out in front, and that's your power property. And the opposite of a number out in front is having an exponent. So that's a W right there. What we can do with that then is take the 5 and make it the exponent for x. And that would become log of x to the 5th. Minus, take the 4 and do the same thing. Log y to the 4th. So we got rid of the power property. That's a 4 right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Whoa, that's even crazier. There we go. Now let's take care of that subtraction. If you look at your 3 properties, flip it back over to the other side if you need to. The subtraction is the reverse of the quotient property. And what that means, to condense down to one logarithmic term, we take the first logarithmic value just divided by the second one. And that would give us log base 10 of x to the 5th over y to the 4th. It's really that simple. Our last one, again, same rules will apply when you condense with ln. Remember, ln is automatically base e. We have addition and we have a product. So let's see how we can make this happen. Or not addition, we have addition and we have an exponent, or a coefficient. Oh, say words right. So that 2 out in front is a power property. I'm going to make that an exponent for that 2. That gives us ln 40 plus ln 2 squared plus ln x. Well, 2 squared, we actually can simplify that to 4. That gives us ln 40 plus ln 2 squared, which is 4, plus ln x. I don't know why I'm having trouble writing today. All right, so we got rid of that exponent rule, or the power rule. Now let's take care of that addition. We have 2 addition parts to this, which means we're going to multiply all the natural logarithm values together to condense it to one term. That gives us ln of 40 times 4 times x, which would just equal ln of 160x. And there's your condensed logarithmic term. The last thing we're going to do requires using a calculator. So please find your calculator before we move on to the next part. Our final formula that we can use to work with logarithms is called the change of base formula. What this formula allows us to do is use a calculator to find logarithmic values that have bases that are different than 10. So remember before, we could only plug it into our calculator if it was just like plain log of 50, and that would be base 10. Now we can apply different logarithmic rules by converting them in fraction form to either base 10 or ln. So where it says b right here, technically it can be any base that you want to convert it to, but what we're going to do is keep it base 10, and that way we can plug it into our calculator. So it looks something like this. Evaluate log base 3 of 24 using logarithmic options. I don't like that question set. Hang on, let's try this again. We're just going to say change of base. So let's cross that off, and we'll say using change of base. I don't know why I wrote both logarithmic options. Actually, I know why, but we're just going to stick with one. Just let me work through it in my head. We'll get there, you guys. All right, sorry. Log base 3 of 24. So if we think about 3 and 24, they're not on our power chart together, so it means that 3 to a power doesn't equal 24 evenly. By applying the change of base rule, what we're going to do is just convert this to a calculator-friendly option. To convert it to base 10, you take the original logarithm rule of 24, and that goes in the numerator, divided by the log of the base you originally intended to take in the denominator. So be careful with your parentheses. When you type log 24, make sure to put a parenthesis around it before you type in log 3. And you should get an answer of approximately 2.89, and then we'd go 3 if we round it to the nearest 3 decimal places. 2.893. So what this means, if we check it, and we're almost done. If our base is 3, and we raise it to the 2.893 power, plug that into your calculator and tell me what you get. You should get approximately 24. So we're just taking the inverse of an exponential definition to create a logarithmic term. Ooh, and that's lesson 7.5.